you're standing in that showroom right now, keys in hand, telling yourself you can't go wrong with a Toyota or a Honda. That's exactly what I want to talk about, because after decades under the hood, I can tell you one of these brands is quietly building engines that self-destruct. Not the old ones, the new ones. The ones with the badge you trust most. Today I'm counting down the least dependable engines these two giants ever put in front of American drivers, from bad to absolute worst. And the engine sitting at number 1, it's the newest, most expensive one on this list, and there's a federal recall covering more than 100,000 of them. I remember the exact truck that set this ranking in my head. A late model half-ton pulled into my bay making a sound I'll never forget, and the owner had 32,000 miles on it and a payment book he was still paying. This applies whether you're buying new off the lot, buying used from a neighbor, or you already have one of these in your driveway right now. So stick with me. Let me start at number 5, and I promise it climbs from here. Number 5 on my list is the Honda 1.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, the one they call the L15 B7. You'll find it in the 2017 through 2019 CR-V, the Civic, and even the Accord. Now here's the setup that catches everybody off guard. This little turbo motor makes great power and great fuel numbers on paper. Honda put it in their best-selling vehicles on purpose, but this engine has a problem that made grown men question everything they believed about the brand. It dilutes its own oil with gasoline. Let me explain what I mean, because this is the part the salesman will never say. On these direct-injected Turbo 4s, especially in cold weather and on short trips, raw fuel washes past the rings and drops down into the oil pan. I've pulled the dipstick on these, and the oil level was actually higher than full, and it stank like a gas station. That's fuel where oil is supposed to be. When your oil is watered down with gasoline, it can't protect the bearings and the cylinder walls the way it should. Owners in cold states like Minnesota and the Dakotas got hit the hardest. Honda actually issued a service bulletin and a software update for this, and a class action settlement followed. That tells you it wasn't a couple of unlucky trucks. It was the design. Here's what it cost real people. A lot of these owners never lost the engine outright, but they lived with a check engine light, a rough cold start, and that constant worry every single winter. Some paid $800 to $1,200 chasing problems the update was supposed to fix. And when you go to sell, a smart buyer who knows this history walks away. So here's my practical takeaway for number 5. If you're looking at one of these 2017 to 2019 turbo Hondas, pull that dipstick before you buy and smell it. If it smells like fuel or the level is above the full mark, walk. And if you own one, change your oil more often than the maintenance minder tells you, especially if you drive short trips in the cold. But here's why number 5 is only the beginning. This engine dilutes its oil. The next one on my list actually drinks it quart after quart, and it does it in a vehicle families load their kids into every day. Number 4 is the Toyota 2.4-liter 4-cylinder, the 2AZ FE. This one lived in the 2007 through 2011 Camry, the RAV4, the Scion TC, and the Solera. And it broke a lot of hearts, because these are the people who bought Toyota specifically so they'd never have to think about the engine. Here's the surprise that makes this one sting. This motor has 2 separate problems, and they team up on you. The first is oil consumption. These engines burn oil through worn piston rings, and I'm not talking about a little. I've seen these things go through a quart every 800 to 1,000 miles. The owner checks the oil once between changes, like they always did, and the dipstick comes back bone dry. Run it low enough, long enough, and you spin a bearing or seize the whole thing. The second problem is even nastier. The head bolts on this engine thread into the aluminum block, and on a lot of these motors, those threads strip right out. When that happens, the head gasket lets go, coolant and oil mix, and now you're looking at pulling the engine or replacing the block. I want you to hear the numbers on this. Toyota knew they put out a warranty enhancement program for the oil consumption, extending coverage on it. But a stripped thread, block repair, or a full engine replacement on one of these runs you $4,000 to $6,000 at a real shop on a car that might only be worth $5,000. That's the definition of totaled by its own engine. So the takeaway for number 4 is simple. If you're shopping a 2007 to 2011 four-cylinder Toyota, check the oil, look for that milky sludge under the cap that says coolant got in, and ask for records showing the oil was topped off religiously. If you own one, checking your oil every 2 weeks is the cheapest insurance you'll ever buy. Now, here's where I have to be straight with you about something bigger. You clicked on this because you trust these two names, Toyota and Honda, and you should be able to. But somebody has been profiting off that trust for a long time. Somebody figured out that a reputation for reliability is so powerful, it can carry an engine that doesn't deserve it. That reputation gets sold to you in every commercial, and it lets these companies quietly extend warranties, bury service bulletins, and let the buyer eat the difference. If you want the full picture of how to protect yourself before you ever hand over a down payment, the checklists, the questions, the things to look up before you walk onto any lot, I put all of it into a book called Don't Buy That, and there's a deeper cut called Deep Reliability that goes engine by engine, and a complete bundle called Full System that covers everything from inspection to negotiation. I spent years putting this together so you don't have to learn it the hard way like I did. You'll find the details in the description below. I'll get to exactly who and exactly how. But first, therefore, we have to climb higher up this list because number 3 is where the money really starts bleeding. Number 3 is the Honda 3.5 liter V6, the J series running the system Honda calls Variable Cylinder Management, or VCM. This is the engine in the 2008 through 2013 Odyssey, the Pilot, the Accord, and the Acura versions too. Here's the setup. VCM was sold as a fuel-saving miracle. The engine shuts down cylinders when you don't need them, so you sip gas on the highway. Sounds brilliant. In practice, it's one of the most reliable ways I know to destroy a good V6. When those cylinders shut off and cool down, then fire back up over and over, it beats the piston rings and the cylinder walls to death over time. The result is oil consumption again, but worse than the Toyota four-cylinder in a lot of cases. These V6 engines foul spark plugs, burn oil, and start misfiring. I've had Odysseys come in running on 5 cylinders with the owner swearing they never saw a warning until the shaking started. And it doesn't stop there. That constant cylinder switching shakes the whole drivetrain, and it eats motor mounts. I've replaced mounts on these vans that were liquid-filled and completely blown out, and a set of those isn't cheap. You're looking at $600 to $1,000 in mounts, and that's before you touch the oil burning problem. Here's the hard number that proves I'm not making this up. Honda extended the powertrain warranty on these engines to 8 years and 125,000 miles specifically for the piston ring and oil consumption failures. Companies do not give away years of extra warranty out of kindness. They do it because the lawyers told them to. A top-end repair to fix the ring problem on one of these runs $3,000 to $5,000. So the takeaway for number 3, if you're looking at one of these 2008 to 2013 Honda V6 vehicles, ask if the VCM has been dealt with, because a lot of smart owners install a device that keeps all 6 cylinders running all the time, and it saves the engine. If you're buying, that's a green flag. If it's still running factory VCM with high miles and no records, be very careful. Now, I told you at the start, there's a part of this video made specifically for one person watching. If you already own one of these engines, and right now your stomach just dropped because your driveway has one of these exact vehicles in it, this next part is for you. Don't click away. This is the part that can save you thousands. Here's the thing you can do yourself this weekend in your own driveway without a shop and without spending real money. Pull your dipstick when the engine is dead cold, first thing in the morning before you start it, wipe it, put it back, pull it again, and read it in good light. You're looking for 3 things. 1, is the level low? On these oil burners, low means you're feeding the problem and you need to top it off now. 2, is the level too high above the full mark? You know, on that turbo Honda I talked about, high means gasoline is getting into your oil, and that's just as dangerous. 3, smell it and look at the color. If it smells like fuel or it's milky and tan like a coffee milkshake, you've got a bigger problem brewing and you caught it early. Do that dipstick check every 2 weeks. Write the mileage on a piece of tape on the oil cap every time you add a quart. If you're adding more than a quart every 1,000 miles, You have documented, dated proof of oil consumption, and that paper trail is worth its weight in gold if there's still any warranty coverage or a goodwill claim to be made. The people who lose their engines are the ones who never looked until the light came on. You're not going to be that person now. And while you're under there, put your hand on the top of the engine and feel for oil weeping down from the valve cover or the head. On a lot of these motors, a slow external leak is the first warning before the expensive internal failure. Catching a $40 gasket beats a $4,000 engine every single time. Okay, now let me tell you who buried all of this, because I promised you I would. It's not one dealer, and it's not one bad mechanic. It's the machine that sells you the badge instead of the engine. These companies spent decades and billions building a wall of reliability marketing, and that wall is so strong it now protects their worst products. When an engine has a known defect, the fix isn't a public announcement. It's a quiet technical service bulletin that only shows up if the dealer decides to look, and a warranty extension that most owners never even hear about. The reputation does the selling, the buried paperwork does the hiding, and you, the guy who trusted the name, eats the repair bill when the coverage runs out by a few thousand miles. I got burned by exactly this once. I bought on reputation instead of on what I could see with my own two hands, and it cost me. That's why I rank these the honest way now, and why I'm telling you before you sign anything. Therefore, we climb to number 2, and this one hurts because it's wearing the tough guy badge that truck buyers swear by. Number 2 is the Toyota 5.7-liter V8, the 3UR FE in the Tundra and the Sequoia, roughly the 2007 and up trucks. Now let me be fair, because you deserve fair. The bottom end of this engine, the block and the crank, is genuinely tough. Guys run these to 300,000 miles. So why is it sitting at number 2 on my least dependable list? Because of the parts bolted around it that fail like clockwork and cost a fortune. The big one is the secondary air injection system. This is an emissions setup with pumps and valves that live low and get hit by moisture and corrosion. When they fail, and on these trucks they fail a lot, you get a check engine light and the repair is brutal. I've written estimates on the full secondary air injection repair that landed between $2,500 and $3,500 because you're deep into the intake area to get it all. Then there's the exhaust manifold and the cam tower leaks and the water pumps. None of these strand you on day one, but add them up over the life of the truck and you've spent V8 money keeping a V8 alive that the badge told you would never need it. Here's the insider angle. The reason this one surprises people is that the Tundra has a cult reputation for being unkillable, and the core engine kind of earns it, but reputation is not the same as cheap to own. I've watched guys pay off the truck and then pour thousands into these systems, all while telling themselves it's the most reliable thing on the road because the marketing told them so and they can't let go of it. The takeaway for number 2, if you're buying a used 5-7 Tundra or Sequoia, have someone scan it for pending emissions codes and check whether the secondary air injection has already been done. If it has, that's a truck that already paid its biggest tax. If you own one and you get that particular check engine light, don't panic, buy the dealer repair. A good independent shop can save you real money on that job. But here's the thing. Everything I've told you so far, the oil dilution, the oil burning, the stripped threads, the expensive emissions parts, all of it has a fix and a warning. All of it gives you a chance to catch it. The engine at number 1 gives you no chance. It's the newest engine on this entire list. It's in the most expensive trucks and SUVs these brands sell today, and it doesn't slowly wear out. It fails suddenly, sometimes with almost no warning, from something the factory left inside it the day it was built. That truck I told you about at the very beginning, the one with 32,000 miles and a sound I'll never forget, this is that engine. Let me tell you what it is. Number 1, the least dependable engine on my list is the Toyota twin turbocharged 3.4-liter V6, the one Toyota calls the V35A FTS. It's in the 2022 and up Tundra, the Sequoia, and the Lexus LX 600. This is Toyota's flagship. This is the engine that replaced the old 5-7 V8. This is what they sold as the future. And here's the truth that mainstream car media absolutely got wrong, because they were still repeating the old reliability story while these engines were grenading in people's driveways. Toyota issued a federal recall on this engine, not a service bulletin they could bury. A recall filed with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, covering more than 100,000 of these trucks and SUVs, roughly the 2022 and 2023 Tundra and Lexus LX 600. And the reason is the part that turns my stomach as a mechanic: machining debris. Metal shavings left inside the engine from the manufacturing process. That debris circulates, and it can cause the engine to knock, to lose power, and to stall or seize completely. There's no dipstick check that saves you from that. There's no oil change schedule that flushes out metal that was sealed inside your engine before you ever got the keys. It's a defect built in at the factory in Toyota's newest, proudest motor. Let me put the stakes in your driveway. These are $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 vehicles. The remedy in the recall is an engine replacement when the failure is found, and that's on Toyota's dime under the recall. But think about what it means. You bought the most trusted brand on earth, you paid top dollar for the flagship, and the fix is they take out the whole engine and put in a new one. And the owners outside that exact recall window, the ones with the later build dates, sat there wondering if theirs was next, because the same engine keeps generating failure complaints. Here's the journey of this truth, and why you're one of the few people hearing it straight. The old story existed for a good reason. Toyota did build some of the most durable engines in history, and I've praised them my whole career. But that reputation got so valuable that it started covering for a brand new engine that hadn't earned it. The car magazines kept selling the legend because the legend gets clicks and ad dollars. The honest record was sitting in a federal recall database that nobody reads, one dry government filing that preserved the truth while everybody else repeated the myth. Now you have it. And you have it before you walk into that dealership this weekend and let someone tell you the new twin turbo is bulletproof because it says Toyota on the valve cover. So here's exactly what to do with number one. If you're shopping a 2022 or newer Tundra, Sequoia, or Lexus LX, get the vehicle identification number and check it against the recall directly, and ask for written proof of whether the engine was inspected or already replaced. A truck that got a fresh engine under the recall is actually a safer bet than one that slipped through. If you own one, do not ignore any knock, any hesitation, any stall, and get it into the dealer while that recall coverage is live. This is the one failure on my whole list where the factory is on the hook, so make them pay for it, not you. Let me tell you what this whole ranking really comes down to, because it's not about hating either brand. I've put my own money on both. It's about this. The badge on the hood is not a promise. It's a marketing tool. And the day you buy a truck because of the legend instead of the metal is the day you set yourself up to get burned, no matter whose name is on it. You just got the honest order that most buyers never see, the one that could save you thousands or keep you from signing on the exact wrong engine. You're the kind of driver who wants the real ranking, not the showroom ranking. You've already proven that by watching this far, so you already know what to do. You check the oil yourself. You run the vehicle identification number. You buy the engine, not the story. Now I want to hear from you, because you know things I want to know. Tell me this. Do you think that new twin-turbo Toyota V6 at number one really deserves the worst spot, or would you have put that Honda VCM V6 above it? I've got my reasons, but I read every reply, so make your case down in the comments. And tell me what you're driving right now and what part of the country you're watching from, because a cold climate winter changes everything about that oil dilution problem, and I want to know what you're up against. If you're the kind of driver who refuses to get burned by a badge, you belong here with the rest of us who check before we sign. That's the whole point of this. Stick around, use the car care tips I shared to protect whatever you're driving now, and you'll never be the guy paying $4,000 for a lesson you could have gotten free. And here's the loop I'll leave you on. Next time I'm ranking the transmissions, and there is one automatic in a truck everybody calls dependable, that I've replaced more times than I can count before 100,000 miles. You will not guess the brand. I'll see you in that one. I'm not done yet. Everything you just heard was the overview. Inside the Garage Bench Club, I pick up right where I stopped, giving you the full engine-by-engine ranking. You can ask me your own question, and a real person, me, answers you myself. And you're not alone in there. Just point your phone's camera at the code on the screen. Cancel anytime with one click. If this helped you understand your engine a little better, I hope you'll subscribe and stay with me. I have plenty more right here to help you sort through it all.